Okay.
That's a great question, Preston.
Great question.
So you're saying, what would I do?
Yeah, part two. Well, let me reset the stage here. Part two. And by the way, just so we're clear, so people understand, this is not a mocking. Doctor Strange. Watch the movie before you. We're gonna get a lot of comments. By the way, comment, like, and subscribe. We're gonna get a lot of comments thinking I was trying to be funny or humorous, whatever it was. It might have been slightly humorous, but the point is, this is part two of Doctor Strange. But on a serious note, if people don't really think about this, because if you have health problems, look, when you're young, we just went to dinner. These guys at the table, they were like 19, 20 years old.
Fantastic service, though.
And
what was it?
Great
Goody goody.
Yeah, goody goodies. Great service, great people. But there's a young group of guys, 18, 19, 20 years old, throwing glasses and just acting crazy. They're not really thinking about when they're in the 30s or 40s. You got to remember, Doctor Strange in that world, he was the #1 ranked neurosurgeon. That was what I was looking for. I was thinking I don't know why plastic surgery was called. He was the #1 neurosurgeon in the world. And the #2 guy was in the room, and his Rolex was like ticking, and he reprimanded him. So we all saw that. So if something happened to you on a serious note, like whatever your job is, like so for example, let's say we're going to get into this, but say if you're a salesperson and you lost a leg, you would not be able to get in and out of your car all day long, going to appointments all day. So I don't know why we're laughing. Let's keep it together. So in your case, if something happened to you specifically, either A, your day-to-day work, or B, if you hired 5 people to do that day-to-day work, and you needed to go door to door and do sales or have meetings, and you couldn't physically do that, what would you do?
Understood.
So game face, poker face.
And we'll continue. That's a great question, Preston.
You hopefully wouldn't laugh.
No, we're gonna pick it up, and I'll.
Okay, keep going.
That's a great okay. 1, 2. That's a great question, Preston.
So you don't have a very good answer, basically.
If one of my limbs were,
it doesn't have to be a limb. What I'm saying is, look, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Look. It doesn't have to be as graphic as you're driving your brand new $100,000 sports car like he was
let's cut.
off the road. We're still rolling. We're going to keep it going. We're not going to chop this up. We're just going to give us a quick answer, a minute or less. What would you do? On a serious note, people don't think about this. It's all part of the cake. What would you do?
That's a great question, and I'll tell you what I would do, because when you can't do things that are physical, I'm going to give you a perfect example and then tell you what I would do. Think about...
Would you be Professor X, Stephen, and use your... Go ahead. Sorry.
I like the reference, but I would actually think about Stephen Hawking. Okay,
we're going. Okay.
The guy could not talk. He could talk, but through a robotic.
Need a robotic.
He could not walk, and you would say, "Oh, what's the point? What can you do with your life?" He was one of the smartest people who wrote books. Advised the top level scientists and astronomers on what's going on.
Right.
And so what I would do if I couldn't do...
You would turn into Stephen Hawking? I think it might be easier for you to become the #1 neurosurgeon and find the Dark Lords and Doctor Strange. That might be a little bit easier.
Well, it's going to
go ahead.
I'm
with it. Okay.
Okay. I would go ahead and use my...
You're Professor X.
My brain.
Okay.
And what I would do is impart the knowledge that I have without having to physically do something, and either hire, teach, train, and basically that they are my limbs. They are, like I'm an octopus. I hire 5, 10, 15, 20 people, teach them exactly what to do and how to do it.
Now, and then who was the guy that Spider-Man fought?
Dr.
Octopus. So you'd either turn into Doctor Strange, Dr. Octopus, or Dr. Stephen Hawking. Now I want to say this, and I admire your gumption. Stephen Hawking was the smartest man in the world, or one of the smartest men in the world, neuroscientist.
Yes. And what did that prove?
Well, what it proved is if you're a genius, you can do anything. But
what did it also prove about
the
not
true
having
reality?
The physical aspect.
No. The true reality. And I've seen this because I was watching motivational speakers. Tony Robbins and this guy. There's a guy with basically, I don't want to sound harsh. I'm not trying to be flippant here. No hands and no legs, and he's a motivational speaker. I mean, that happens.
He actually is local.
Is he?
He's local.
Okay, and I've seen guys that do that. Yeah.
No, he is.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, obviously that's something that motivates me. I mean, if there's somebody out there that believes in themselves, that really feels there's no boundaries, no limits, despite the physical limitations that one has, absolutely. Right. So if it were me, and I use my hands for work, and if I could not use them, then absolutely I would have to go ahead and use my mind, and I would have to teach, train, show people how to do things without me physically being there, and still be able to get that done through business development, through marketing, through teaching, through training, and still be able to do things without physically doing them. And that would be the way that I would do it. And think about, some of these high-end profile business individuals, some of these people who are super successful, what are they doing? They're training, they're doing conferences, they're not physically moving things around. They're telling people how to do these things. They're literally teaching and telling them what to do versus physically doing.
Like and subscribe to the channel.
Thank
Great,
you very
Robert.
much.